Night shift bus driver horror. I took the night shift because it paid more. Fewer passengers, fewer problems. Or at least that's what I thought. My route ended at 2:45 a.m., a long stretch of forest road with no streetlights and only one stop, an abandoned shelter no one used anymore. Usually the bus was empty by then. But last week, at exactly 2:13 a.m., I saw someone standing at that stop. A woman. Tall, thin, wearing an old-fashioned black suit like something from the 1920s. Her hair hung over her face completely still, even though the wind was strong enough to shake the trees. I pulled up, opened the doors. She didn't move. "Last route," I called out. "You getting on?" She lifted her head just enough to show a pale face and lips that didn't quite close properly. Then she stepped inside. Her shoes left wet footprints on the floor. I assumed it was raining, until I remembered it hadn't rained in days. She sat in the back, didn't speak, didn't blink, didn't make a sound, but the whole ride, in field here eyes staring at me in the mirror. When we reached the final stop, I turned around to tell her to get off. She was gone. No sound, no footsteps, no doors opening. Just gone. But the footprints were still there, leading to the very back seat, and under it. I didn't sleep that night. The next night I checked under the seats before starting my shift. Nothing. But at 2:13 a.m., I saw her again standing at the same stop. Same suit, same hair, same stillness. This time, I didn't stop. "You just drove past." But she turned her head as I passed, unnaturally farther, almost backwards, and smiled at me through the window. A wide, cracked smile. When I finished my shift, I checked the bus again. Here, wet footprints were already inside. Only this time, there were two sets. I stood at the front of the empty bus, staring at the two sets of wet footprints that shouldn't have been there. One set small, one set much larger, both leading to the same seat in the back row. I stepped toward it slowly, my flashlight shaking in my hand. The air felt wrong, heavy, cold, like someone had just taken a breath behind me. But when I turned around, the bus was empty. Completely. I exhaled. Then the bus lights flickered. Once, twice, then died. Everything went black. I froze. I didn't dare move. I just listened. At first, there was nothing. Then, tap, tap, tap. Someone was walking down the aisle, slowly, deliberately. I flicked my flashlight on. No one was there. But the footsteps kept coming. Tap, 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 right toward me. Then they stopped, directly in front of my seat. I lifted the flashlight higher. Still nothing. Just empty air. Until I saw it. A handprint formed in the fog on the windshield. Right in front of me, pressed from the inside. Thin fingers, too long, bent at the wrong angles. I staggered back, panting. My walkie-talkie crackled on. A voice whispered through it, soft and distorted. "You didn't stop for me." My blood turned cold. It was her voice. The woman from the stop. The old-fashioned dress. The unmoving hair. The impossible smile. I looked back at the aisle, and this time, I finally saw her. Standing in the dark, head tilted all the way to one side, face pale and sunken, eyes completely black. Behind her, in the final row of the bus, someone else sat up. A man. Broad shoulders, empty eyes. His neck was broken, badly, hanging at a jagged angle. Both of them stared at me. The woman stepped forward, her feet not touching the floor, her smile widening with a wet crack. "Next time, you will pick us up." The lights flickered back on, and just like that, they were gone. But the footprints were still wet, and there were more of them now, too many. After seeing them, the woman and the man, I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard their footsteps moving through the aisle of an empty bus. I needed answers. So on my night off, I went to the transit depot and found old driver logs. Boxes stacked in a locked room nobody had touched in years. Dust everywhere. Paper yellowed. Some dates going back to the 70s. I dug until I found something strange. A route sheet labeled 213, discontinued. My stomach tightened. Two things stood out immediately. Route ended at the exact forest stop I pass every night. The final shift time, 2:13 a.m., the same time the woman appears. My hands shook as I read the notes scribbled in the margins. Do not stop at Old Forest Shelter. Passengers not human. If they board, do not look in mirror. I felt sick. Then I found the incident report, the one they tried to erase. The accident. It happened 18 years ago. A bus, same model as mine, was returning from its last loop. Empty road, no traffic. According to the report, the driver swerved violently near the forest stop and crashed into a ditch. Fatalities, 19 passengers, 1 driver. But here's the part that chilled my blood. Witnesses claimed they saw a woman in an old black dress standing at the stop right before the crash, and a large man behind her with his head already hanging broken, as if they were waiting, as if they had been there a long time. But the final note was the worst. Bodies of 2 passengers were never found. The woman, the man, still missing, still waiting, still boarding night buses looking for the one route that never reached its destination. Route 213, the message. As I closed the file, my phone buzzed. A new notification. No number, no name, just a message. TONIGHT. The lights in the archive flickered, and from the shadows between the shelves I heard 2 voices whisper, "You know our stop now. This time, you will stop." That night, I drove the route like always, hands shaking on the wheel, eyes glued to the road ahead. The forest pressed in on both sides, branches scraping the windows like fingers tapping for attention. Time crawled, 2:10 a.m., 2:11, 2:12, then 2:13 a.m. And there it was, the Old Forest Shelter. But this time, there weren't just 2 figures. There were many. People lining the road, men, women, children, all standing perfectly still, faces pale in the moonlight, clothes shredded and stained with earth, like they had all climbed out of the same grave. At the center stood her, the woman in the black dress, head bowed, hands clasped like she was praying. Behind her, the man with the broken neck towered over the others, his head hanging sideways, as if held on by a thread. My breath caught. The bus lurched to a stop, even though I never touched the brakes. The doors hissed open on their own. Cold air rushed in, carrying the smell of wet soil and rust. The woman stepped forward, lifting her face just enough that I could see the hollow black pits where her eyes should have been. She smiled, not at me, but through me, as if she saw something behind my eyes that even I didn't know was there. Then she spoke, for the first time without whispering. "Driver, you've read our story." My hands froze on the wheel. She continued, "Now you must finish the route." The other figures moved then, all at once, silently boarding the bus. Their footsteps didn't make a sound. Their bodies didn't cast shadows. They filled every seat, all except one, the seat right behind me. That one was for her. She climbed aboard slowly, dress dragging behind her, leaving a wet streak on the floor. When she sat down, the bus lights flickered violently, the engine roared and the doors slammed shut. I tried to pull away, to hit the brakes, but the wheel turned by itself. The pedals pressed down on their own. The woman leaned forward, her cold breath hitting the back of my neck. "Take us home," she whispered. My heart stopped. Home? They didn't have a home. They had a grave. Suddenly, the windshield darkened. Trees bending into twisted shapes, road dissolving into black water. I wasn't driving on pavement anymore. I was driving into the place where they had all died. The woman's voice trembled with hunger. "Drive the route. That killed us." Behind me, every passenger began humming the same low, horrible tune. The sound of people trying to scream with lungs full of dirt. The bus sped up on its own. 45 miles per hour, 60, 80. The forest blurred, the road disappeared, and then the man with the broken neck leaned down beside me. His voice scraped like gravel. "Just like the last driver,